It'll probably go in their archives. Someone on set said, well, what are you gonna do with the dress, Meagan? And the studio quickly piped in and said, it will go to the studio.
When it comes to TV and movies, no decision is left to chance. Behind every iconic character's wardrobe lies the deliberate work of a thoughtful costume designer. That much is clear in Diablo Cody's Lisa Frankenstein, a campy teen romance where costume designer Meagan McLaughlin-Luster adds a dark touch to the nostalgic fashions of the late 80s.
Hi, my name is Meagan McLaughlin-Luster, and I was the costume designer on Lisa Frankenstein. Before this, I think the most well-known thing that I designed was Cloverfield Lane. When we first met, Happy Death Day. It's hard to remember your resume as you're being interviewed.
The role of a costume designer has often been likened to that of a psychologist.
The first thing that a costume designer does is just kind of dive deep into the person. What the characters are, where they came from, who they are.
I'm an IP, intuitive person.
And then you do research. Now we have the convenience of pulling from Google, but I'll still order books from that period, Sears catalogs, magazines, Teen Bop, anything that will show the actual clothing instead of what people think it is in their head.
Director Zelda Williams stated that she was going for a sort of warped John Waters meets Nightmare on Elm Street version of the time period. Not your classic setting for a teen romance.
Zelda was awesome. I love the ladies on this show. There were so many signs that this script was for me, and that has a lot to do with Diablo. I think that we're about the same age, if not the same age. Even the little things in that script, I was like, yes, yes, yes. Some of Lisa's costumes are straight out of my closet. Specifically, when she's sitting at the grave in that autumn button down with the shorts, that was me. 100%. It brings you back to that time because you grew up in that time.
Oh, that's so cute.
No matter how good a costume may look on a mannequin, costume designers have to ensure the people on screen fit in with their surroundings, or in some cases, make sure they stand out.
It's important for me as a costume designer to coordinate with all of the departments. Zelda chose the color palette from this movie called Tie Me Up, Tie Me Down.
The red tones associated with Lisa's character can be seen throughout the whole movie, from the cinematography to the production design to McLaughlin-Luster's wardrobe creations.
I often went into the production designer's office to make sure that everything was gonna work within the palette that was chosen. So I highlight, I tag, I put little sticky notes, questions that I need to ask that I'm not clear on the direction of the writing so that I get the vision.
Are guys so simple that you just have to put on a pirate skeezer dress and suddenly they want to talk to you?
There are definitely a lot of wardrobe pieces that were written into the script. The slutty pirate, the blossom hat, Taffy's jellies that she wears, 100% written into the script. But the Nietzsche shirt was not. That was Zelda's idea. She wanted Michael to have the aura of an intellectual or being seen as an intellectual. I think it was a specific shirt and then we couldn't use it because we couldn't get it cleared.
So McLaughlin-Luster designed and fabricated the shirt herself.
A lot of the 80s stuff has graphics on it, like the authentic vintage definitely has graphics on it. The clearance department had their work cut out for them. There were definitely different cliques. The jocks, nerds, cheerleaders, goths. For the party scene, I think we dressed 75 background actors. And the people that we had helping were amazing. They'll dress them and then they'll do a lineup. And then Jen and I will have to walk through each person. We would pick our favorites that we wanted to be in the front.
Diablo Cody and Zelda Williams drew inspiration from all sorts of 80s classics like John Hughes' Weird Science, Beetlejuice, and early 90s cult classic Death Becomes Her.
I Googled 1989 movies. Heathers, She's Driving Me Crazy, Bill and Ted. I'll even rewind scenes to just look at the background. They're not gonna be exaggerated as much as the main characters. I will just pay attention to the background to make sure that we're not exaggerating what truly it is. Cole is definitely inspired by Johnny Depp and Benny and June, who ultimately is inspired by Buster Keaton.
Famous for his physical comedy and deadpan expressions, Keaton was perfect for Creature, who, without the ability of speech, expresses himself through his body alone.
He is definitely of a certain class, definitely a gentleman, still wants to be all properly put together. And he talked about that in our fittings. Once I put an outfit on, he would walk around the way he was gonna walk around on set.
Cole Sprouse even trained with a mime. That's right, mime. Lauren Eric Somm, to perfect his performance.
His colors were a lot of moss, mud, earth tones, and black. I will use any excuse to put somebody in green. This is what it looks like pristine in a costume shop. And then when it goes to set, this is what happens to it. We picked these lovely, luscious fabrics and it all goes haywire. The Violent Femmes t-shirt was written into the script. I was gonna try an undershirt. It didn't really work out well, so we decided to do the sports coat. The sport coat was a better choice. He still needs something to make him feel appropriate to the time that his brain was in. So there are a lot of pajamas in this film, and originally I had Cole put on these pajamas, but there was a request to have this particular pajama because it was fashionable in the 80s for little girls. We thought it would be funny if Cole was wearing the nightgown and Lisa wore these. These have been my pajamas for 20 years. I don't sleep in them anymore, they just stay in my kit. It looks worn. Even if you buy something new, it can't look new. That's another thing that costumers and costume departments have to do, rubbing it down so it gets all pilly or, you know, dyeing it, teching it so it's not that bright white. You have to know how to do all elements of your department.
Do you like any other music? I have The Cure. No, it's not that kind of cure.
When we meet Lisa, Williams states, she's an extremely traumatized person whose grief has been treated like an inconvenience by the people around her.
I don't think she's an outsider per se. Like, she might have felt like that, but she got along with people. I just thought she marched her own drum. I dressed her with my favorites. Esprit, Banana Republic, Benetton. And then Blossom, I mean, who didn't want to be Blossom?
McLaughlin-Luster dressed earlier scenes of Lisa with more conservative, lightly feminine clothes, collars, button-downs, and the like.
I kept it kind of innocent. Once Creature comes, she goes on a catapult of self-discovery.
Even though Creature is the one who literally gets remodeled throughout the movie, Lisa's own internal transformation is reflected through the evolution of her wardrobe.
The thing that she wished for, which was for Creature to be alive, happened, and so it gave her this magic to become the person who she's always wanted to be.
Falling in love with the Creature allows Lisa to literally embrace death, says Cody. He empowers her to express herself and go after what she wants, including revenge.
Supposed to sort of look like a wedding dress. Creature's jacket, his original jacket, his Victorian jacket, had embossed roses on it. This has vines and flowers. So it was emulating Madonna. Every little girl in 1984 loved Madonna. And you didn't stop loving Madonna just because it was 1989. The second outfit that she wears as the new Lisa is a red and black buffalo check. That particular outfit was directly influenced from Winona Ryder and Heathers.
McLaughlin-Luster's most rewarding creation from the film is featured in the middle of a drug-fueled fever dream, inspired by classic black and white cinema, in which Lisa winds up in a two-dimensional beer-themed Victorian ball gown.
Usually you get a specialty costumer or artist, and you get your seamstress to sew, which I did, and then I personally painted everything on this dress. I had this picture posted next to this big piece of canvas, and I would just eye it. If I would have had more money, I would have just forgotten about it and let somebody else do it. But because I did it myself, and I'm very proud of that.
Does he lunch on or off campus?
Off.
BK or White Castle?
Neither.
Does he have more of a basketball bod or a football bod?
He doesn't play sports. He's cerebral.
He's in a wheelchair.
Lisa's ever-perky stepsister Taffy is actually Diablo Cody's favorite character.
Taffy is not the typical evil stepsister. She actually roots for Lisa and really tries to help her. Taffy is easy because she's popular. We would pick the cutest stuff for her. Again, my key brands, Esprit, Benetton, Banana Republic. We had to take all the pep and happy out of Taffy. You know, she's not that peppy cheerleader after events happen. And the easiest way to do that was a gray sweatshirt. She's in a state of shock, disbelief. She gets into the moody 90s girl.
Lisa.
The character of Janet, I had a very different avenue. Originally, I found this like material that had kittens on it. I was gonna make scrubs out of that. Then I had a conversation with Carla. She had the whole Nurse Ratched idea, and then we just flipped.
The plan was for Janet's wardrobe to reflect the tropical, pastel-y production design of the house. The script calls for a ghoulish 80s living room, straight out of the JCPenney Big Book. In the end, each piece of wardrobe selected was actually designed to make Janet stand out.
And keeping it in the color palette. We also had to have the element of red in each one of the costumes. She has this outfit, except the belt is red. The little stripe across her nurse's hat is red, and she's wearing red high-top Reeboks, which were a must. I got these two images from Zelda and where she wanted to go with Janet. Once I had the conversation with Carla, we went in a completely different direction. Liza in real life is Filipino, and she wanted to reference the fact I pulled up these reference photos of Filipino women. We amazingly found a dress from the 80s that had these big poofy sleeves. When she walked on set, she told me, Liza actually said, you know, we have dresses back in the Philippines like this. So that was like kind of like a secret like backstory of a character, and she looked amazing, so. The main reason why I became a costume designer, I love history. I love digging in. It's almost like a treasure hunt. How would you know what somebody wears in 1847? You wouldn't. So you have to dig to find that knowledge. And once you found it, then you can create your own vision of that year. It combined fashion with history. And so it was ultimately perfect for me.
You can talk to my lawyer.
Really hope this goth phase ends soon.